Hi. I wanted to just add a couple of little things to the healing aspect with animal communication. Obviously, the communication is the most important part, but when we've got that wonderful link with animals, we're in a perfect position to be able to sit for healing for them. And as already seen, it's a question of less is more. Can be very, very simple. But I'm also aware that many of you are healers in different disciplines. Perhaps some of you are Reiki healers, perhaps some of you are animal Reiki healers. Perhaps you work with crystals, with energy, perhaps you use by sensing energy, part of your healing practice. So there was something I wanted to include. And I wanted to include some information about the chakras in the animals. Energy centers, just like we have, and if you're someone who's sensitive to energy, it is another way you can work with them to see if they're feeling well. But also, if you do sense the energy in a certain area, it can tell you a lot about them emotionally. So that's quite interesting. So you're communicating on the level of mind to mind, telepathic as a regular animal communicator, and as a healer there are other ways as well as communicating. So there are many ways. The chakras on the animals are just about in the same position as they are in the human. There are some schools of thought that believe there is an extra chakra called the brachial chakra, and that runs along more or less where the shoulders are in the animal. So that's something to look out for. But I just wanted to, with the pictures, as you can see, I'm doing a scan of Riley. And what I can do, because I sense the energy, is because I'm already in that lovely communication state, I'm in the present moment, as I become aware of just very gently and slowly gliding my hands over him, I start after a while to sort of drift with this movement. And then if I was to stop, where do I want to stop my hand? And that usually draws me to where there's a build-up of energy that's not in balance. Doesn't mean it's bad necessarily, but it's not in balance. So what does all this mean? What can we really do about it? Well, I also work with medical intuition, and the whole basis of medical intuition, that alongside every physical illness there is an emotional and energetic component. And I agree with that. Now, you've got to be careful here, because it's very important that we're not suggesting that every illness has, if you like, a mental aspect to it. There are mental aspects to it, of course. How they affect us will affect our energy. How we cope with it will affect our mood, our feelings. There are, but we've got to be careful. What we're saying is that every physical illness, has a psychological component, and if you remove the psychological component, then the illness disappears. It's not as easy as that, of course. But in medical intuition, we recognize that every energy center has aspects that relate to it: energy, emotion, feelings. And so if you are someone who does scan the animal for energy, and some people do this with their mind as well, so if working with your hand doesn't work, put the animal in your mind's eye and just see yourself, and just see if there's any areas where you're drawn to, if anywhere lights up or is a lighter or darker color, just any difference in this line of where the energy centers are positioned in the animal. And if you sense something, then you can have a look at the chart that I've included in this short video, and you can then communicate, if you wish, with the animal. Now you can do this before you sit for healing, or you can do it after, or you can do it as a totally separate exercise or healing event. And I tend to think it's a good thing to do once you've done the communication, because you're already in that power. So you're much more sensitive to the needs of the animal, and the energy shows up. So if you sense an area in the animal that seems to be, I don't know, just not in balance, then you can have a look at the chart that I've included here. And then you can see what it relates to emotionally, and you can communicate. And you could even go back into the communication and ask the animal about those particular problems or areas or challenges. Perhaps challenges is a more positive word than problems, but that's something you can add in. And what I'm just going to suggest, I'm just adding it in as an extra on the course, because healing is just, in a sense, too simple that it's kind of very short. But also there are a lot of you out there who are really interested in working with Reiki, with hands-on healing, with sensing auras, with working with chakras. So that's what it's there for. And you can use it however you like, but I've included my own medical intuition chart. I haven't included the brachial chakra because it's still up, in the air for debate. But I do believe it's there. I do sense things there. So think about it if you're drawn to between the shoulders, and think about, responsibility, carrying that heavy load. Or is it they're not carrying enough of a load and they want a job, they want to feel needed? So you work it out. But you can work it out once you've sensed it by then going back to the communication. So all in all, this is helping you become an animal therapist in the widest possible sense. So I hope you enjoy experimenting with that. And of course the resources are there for you on the Facebook group. So enjoy, and lovely to be talking to you again. Bye.